On the 2nd of August 1990, Saddam Hussein from Iraq invaded Kuwait, which caused a furore all over the world. So, during that same month, a coalition forces from all over the world, led by the Americans, went out there to free Kuwait. And during the build-up, that was known as Desert Shield. And then, in the 17th of January 1991, that's when the bombardment started of the Iraqi forces, and by the 28th of February it was all over. And one of the main leaders of the coalition was General Norman Schwarzkopf. He was known as Storming Norman. Another one of the leaders was General Colin Powell. Now, when the British forces went out there, not all of the men had the full desert kit. This chap, lucky enough, he's got these desert boots, but you could quite often see photographs of men with just the ordinary black leather boots. Then he's got the desert trousers, and around that time most of the troops had the 1990 pattern webbing equipment. There's two pouches on either side with the quick release fittings made of nylon webbing, and the main weapon was the SA-80. Now, when that first came out, it wasn't very reliable, it wasn't very good, so it was improved over the time, but I'm not an expert on weapons, so I'm not going to discuss that very much. And then also, they used to wear body armour. You can't tell that, it's all in a camouflage pattern, but underneath there, he is wearing body armour. Then he's also wearing the Mark 6 helmet. As I said, a lot of the soldiers didn't have the full desert equipment when they went out there. This chap's got his desert camouflage shirt and trousers, but his boots, just the black leather ones. And on some of my other videos, I have had one or two people complaining that, ooh, the lace on those boots aren't done up right. Well, when you look at those, I don't think they're regulationally tied up either. So what the regulations were and what the actual men wore when they're in combat, you know, they're two completely different things. These are some photographs of the men out in Iraq wearing the 1990 pattern webbing equipment and all the desert camouflage uniforms. All there. And as I said, not all men had desert uniforms. That's a chap from the Royal Artillery. He's got desert boots, but he's got the woodland pattern jacket and trousers because, they didn't have enough desert equipment for everybody. And these are the ammunition pouches. These are one of the early ones. There was specifically made for left and right. You can see the fittings there. You got one there, and that's on the right hand side because that's the supporting strap goes that way, and one goes that way. But to make the manufacturing a bit easier, later on they did away with that. They had like a universal fitting. There was just two pieces went straight up there with like a plastic block on there, which you could attach the straps to any angle. But these are the early ones with the left and right fittings on. Around the back, starts on the left, you can just about see the handle of the bayonet sticking up there on the left. And that first pouch, that's a utility pouch. That's just for carrying the soldiers' personal bits of equipment. Then you've got the entrenching tool in the middle. Now, I've never seen photographs out in the Gulf War with the men using the entrenching tools. I don't suppose they're much use, but it's part of the equipment, so I've put that on just to show you what it would look like. Then the next pouch along, that's the water canteen. And then the big large pouch on the far right hand side, that's for the S10 gas mask. And also, if you look at photographs, most of the men would wear the gas mask, carry the gas mask on the left hand side. But that would be on top of the bayonet then, so it would be hard to get the bayonet out. And on the right hand side there's a space there, so I put that there, but whether it's right or not I don't know. And then Connected to the yoke, that square section in the middle, that's like a mesh material. There's like a mesh there with all holes in it, so that's supposed to help your back from sweating too much. This is the S10 gas mask in its bag. It's a really big, heavy and bulky bag. You've got some gloves in the lid there. Then you've got the gas mask. And inside down there you've got instructions and 2 spare filters. And one actually on the mask. This is the entrenching tool. Like I said, I don't know whether they'd use these in the desert or not. But it comes in a... You've got the canvas part first. And inside there is the solid plastic part, and you take it out. There's the Broad Arrow stamp. This one was made in 1991, so it wouldn't have been in time for the first Gulf War. That's brand new, that's never been issued, that one. And then you've got the water canteen, that comes in a special case, the quick release fittings there. And look inside there, it says Carrier water canteen. That's dated 1991. I say, but it's too late for the Gulf War. And this is the water canteen. That's the same as they had in the 1958 pattern. That hadn't changed since then. And the dates on this is 1990. Same on there. There's 1990, just about made out. But that's the cup, and that's the thing. So they came out in the 1958 pattern, and they was just carried on straight on till then. This is the flak vest the British were wearing at the time of the first Gulf War. It had 2 pockets, a small one on one side, large one on the other. And this one's marked inside. It's got a chap's name there and number. So I suppose you could trace who that belonged to. This is another replica. It's the SA-80. When they first came out, there was quite a lot of problems with these, but they did improve it over the time. And it's what's known as a bullpup weapon. Very short, but it's made for urban fighting really. They've gone away now from the long rifles. And one unusual feature about these is the magazine is behind the trigger. Most, well, up till then, most magazines are at the front of the trigger. At the time of the first Gulf War, the Americans' battle dress uniform was in 6 colours, and it was known as the chocolate chip pattern. And they would be, most of them would be armed with the M16A2 rifle. This one's a replica. It was an improvement of the M16 from the Vietnam War. And then they would have the nylon webbing ammunition pouches. They first came out in the Vietnam War as well. And under the soldier's left arm, in that large bag, is the gas mask. And then on his head, he would wear the Kevlar helmet, the Pasgat helmet. That stands for Personal Armour System for Ground Troops. Around the back, at the centre of the back, is the butt pack. That's for his personal bits of equipment. And attached to that is a large first aid dressing pouch, and then a water canteen, a plastic water canteen. And they're all helped on those Y-shaped suspenders to take the weight. At the side of the gas mask bag there's another little pocket, and inside there it's a decontamination kit, and it's got on there, you know, what all the contents are, what it should be in there. It has got its contents still in there. I'm not going to get them out, but they are in there. The American's gas mask had a hood attached, and so you could have this a cord there so you can tie it up, and that there, you take that out of there, and that's for connecting up to your water canteen so you can have a drink of water while you're wearing the gas mask. This is inside the first aid dressing pouch. This one's actually still got most of its bits and pieces in there. And then the water canteen. One's dated 1984. And in the 80s, the tops on the canteen were black. Later on they were green, so these black ones are quite rare. And there's a flap there. When you take that off, that's for when you're wearing your gas mask. There's a tube on the gas mask that can fit in there so you can have a drink of water while you're wearing your gas mask. Like the British, not all American soldiers had the desert uniforms. This is a photograph of British Airways aeroplane that was caught in Kuwait when the war was over, and there are 2 American soldiers there in their Woodland BDU looking at the wreckage. So there just wasn't enough to go around when they got there. There's one piece of specialist equipment that the Americans had in the Gulf War, was this camouflage suit. During the 1980s the Russians were developing night vision goggles, so to combat that the Americans came up with this. The idea was that the squares, the green, and especially the green colour, it apparently only worked in the desert. It was supposed to disrupt the pictures in the goggles, so you wouldn't be able to see the men properly. But by the time of the Gulf War in 1991, the technology in the night vision goggles had improved so much that this didn't work anyway, so it proved to be completely useless. So most of the men would just use this for keeping warm. It's quite a thick, heavy parka, and I have got the matching trousers to go with this as well. This is the American's flak vest. This the chocolate chip pattern cover, that's just it goes over the top. It's a woodland green underneath, and it has shoulder pads there, extra shoulder pads. I've tried putting it on the mannequin but it wouldn't fit, so I just have to show you it like it is there. Like I said, this is a replica of the M16A2. It could be semi-automatic or full auto. I'm not going to go into detail, I'm not an expert. If you want to learn all about this weapon and any other kind of rifle and machine gun, look up ForgottenWeapons.com on YouTube. A chap called Ian McCullum, an American guy. He covers all these in great detail, so if you want to know anything about rifles, just go and watch his channel really.